Okay, let's pray. We thank you, Father, for today, this opportunity. We pray that you'll be with us even as we go through the study of your word in relation to marriage and relationships. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. You're welcome to School of Marriage. Uh, the topic we are looking at today is watch these things. Watch these things. And by watch these things, what I mean is that these things are very critical, crucial things that cannot be glossed over, both in your life and in the life of one that you are considering as a possible partner in life. So we first apply it to ourselves, and then we also use it as a test, or we also apply it or as an evaluation tool to assess ourselves and those who come on our way. The foundation of all relationships is the relationship between God and man. Every other relationship takes validation and takes its life from that relationship. So that is the most important relationship that God established. The second most important relationship was closely to follow, which was the marriage relationship, and then the family. Then every other relationship came. And therefore, the very first thing that I want to talk about that we should watch or we should be careful of is a casual attitude towards the things of God. Now, if you notice that there is a casual attitude towards God, casual attitude towards the church, casual attitude towards relationship with God, you have to be concerned. If you see that in yourself and you are preparing for marriage, you have to be concerned. You have to make amends. If you see that in your prospective partner, you have to be equally concerned. The reason is that the things that will sustain a relationship like marriage are spiritual things. Now, many people argue, have a whole lot of arguments and all that. When you say things like the foundation of a marriage is the relationship between God and man, because people sometimes cite unbelievers who have been able to live together for a long time, and they say that, well, that means that you don't really need to be a Christian or to be born again to have a fulfilling marriage. Now, when we talk about marriage that is productive, we are not just talking about longevity. Longevity is certainly one of the aspects, because marriage is for life, and therefore if it is truncated along the way, it has not served the purpose for which God instituted it. But that is not the only thing. I mean, the reason why God brings people together is to produce life. You see, he said that so that you produce a godly seed. A godly seed. When you read Malachi 2, the godly seed is not just referring to children, but it's referring to some spiritual substance that is produced out of the relationship. And therefore, God makes use of it. God makes use of what is produced in a relationship where a marriage where two people are equal, they are all children of God. So a casual attitude towards the things of God is dangerous. When you see that, let's say you are in a relationship leading towards marriage, and you see that your partner is lacking in the spiritual responsibilities or in his spiritual life, you have to immediately take steps. When you are even married and you see that your other partner is lacking, you have to take immediate steps. I mean, these things you must watch them, because they are things that affect the marriage. Now, when somebody becomes casual with God or with the things of God, it affects every other aspect of his life. If you don't take God seriously, it affects every aspect of your life. Therefore, that's why it's very important. You can notice that when you came into the person's life, you see the essence of coming together is, the Bible says two are better than one. So if two are better than one, then it clearly means that by coming together, the output should be better or double. That is why you need to be concerned that if, let's say, since you started a relationship, you have seen a decline in your spiritual life, it's an attack. It's an attack, and you need to be concerned. Or maybe since you got married, you have seen a decline in your spiritual life. One should be able to sharpen the other, because the Bible says iron sharpeneth iron. So one must be able to sharpen the other. Even the Bible says we should provoke one another to good works. So when you see that, okay, since we started this relationship, I've seen that my passion has gone down. I'm now casual about the things of God. Now, you may not even notice, but the other person may notice that before, okay, when I was not that close to you, I saw you to be somebody who was that prayerful. So you need to ask yourself, is it that, uh, I mean, are you becoming cold or lukewarm because I came into your life? That's a viable question to ask. Is it like, am I the one who is causing that neutrality? Because I've come to neutralize your fire. Now you are lukewarm. Because at first, from afar, I could see that you were on fire, but now, you are lukewarm. You need to get worried, because the moment you start slipping, slacking, and all that, is a cinch that you are going to backslide. And do you know that, for instance, somebody was telling me that he said that he has noticed that in the Bible, Isaac was comforted when Rebecca came. Isaac was comforted from his mother's death when Rebecca came to him. And so he said that he had noticed that women are powerful, because when they come into your life, anything that is painful or anything that is disturbing will come down. Then he made a comment. Then he said, but before Rebecca came, Isaac was out in the field meditating. When Rebecca was coming, she was on a camel, and she saw Isaac. He had gone out to meditate. But then he said that, but we never heard Isaac meditating again after Rebecca came into his life. So anything that brings you comfort can actually also lead you on a decline, because it's like you have become so comfortable that now it's like the joy of the Lord that you have to go to his presence to get, you think you are getting now, because companionship is great, and all that. And when you meet somebody and you become friends, you are so excited about the person and all that. But the excitement should not lead to a spiritual decline. And we must always guard against that. Fight against that. Remember that the two should be better, not bitter. They should be better, not worse. So now, double outputs. So I expect that once I get married, I must make sure that I don't lose my spiritual fervency. I must make sure, if you were the type who used to get up early to pray, let's say you are a dawn prayer person, maybe midnight prayer person, or whatever the time is. Now, when you get married, you must be able to adjust your schedule or your time to make sure that there's no loss of man hours or loss of energy, because it can really affect, because it's like you are adjusting to it. The same thing applies even to relationship. There are some people, when they enter into relationship, they are just they are just absorbed in it, and some people, it even affects their academic life. If it's affecting academic life, the life of spiritual life, it will just it will just kill it. Because academic life that you are going to write exams very soon, it has affected it. You don't even have time to study. Then your spiritual life that your exams is maybe when Jesus comes, you can procrastinate. It can affect it. So we should check it. Casual attitude. And I say casual because you will notice that there's a decline. When you sense that, quickly try to stoke the dying embers, because you know that what the fulcrum, or let's say the nerve center of your relationship is your personal relationship with Christ. That's the nerve center, and that should be protected. Both should protect each other when it comes to that. Then, and the second thing that we must also be mindful of, and we must also watch, is relationship, or how we relate to authority. How we relate to authority. When you meet people, you must look out for that. How they relate to authority is a function of their character. It's a function of their character. It's a function of their maturity. How people relate to authority, both the man and the woman. You must ask yourself, is this person under any form of authority at all, or he or she is not? If it's a man, you must watch out and look out for how he relates with his superiors at the workplace, how he relates with his parents, on all that. Anything that is authority, you should not gloss over it. You should be concerned. And if there's a way you can help, then you must do that, because that is going to help you. You see, for instance, if you are a lady and then you've met a man, you want to marry the man, and then you realize that this man has issues with anybody who is a superior at the workplace, in church, wherever, then you must know that you are in for trouble. Because there must be somebody that, at least if all else fails, that person can speak into the person's life and the person will obey. Because the issue is that, if, let's say, that's why sometimes people who shy away from meeting your parents or your spiritual parents or something, those people cannot be trusted. The reason why they can't be trusted is that, now, if you encourage that, and then you get into the marriage or the relationship, and you face challenges, and you need somebody, a superior voice, or somebody who is your mentor to speak into your life, it's not going to work, because the tone has been set. The person does not respect the authority. See, so if the person does not respect the authority over you, then you can't move with the person. If you move, the person is going to turn back to you. It's going to affect you. Now, if the person is a lady, for instance, I'm talking about the man first. The man doesn't have any authority over him. You're going to have a very hard time when you reach a stalemate, or when things get tough. Unless maybe you marry somebody who is perfect, or maybe somebody who does not, God just created him. The next day, he just threw him to you and said that this is your husband, Otherwise, you have anybody you marry, you have to at least get somebody who, in case of anything, you can report. If you say, I will report you to this one, then he will conform, Then the lady too, you must also look at how the lady also relates to authority. Not only to men, but also to women, because it's also very important. Authority in all spheres must not be compromised. And if you see that, then you need to help the person to come to grips with the fact that authority is what preserves order, and is what preserves function. It's what promotes, it's what secures your safety, your protection. So if you are a lady, then also, if you are a lady, not only the man looking out for the lady, but if you're a lady, you yourself too must also ask yourself, do I have problems with submission to authority. Now, if you have problems with that, know that you are going to encounter problems in the marriage. You know what I'm saying? That um, there's a kind of humility that you need to be able to marry. There's a kind of humility you need to be able to marry, both the man and the woman. That's why many people don't understand that even the marriage itself is a school that you go. One of the ways that that God will conform. You know, when I preached a message called "Conforming to the Image of Christ," and I said that sometimes when people don't get it from the word, they get it from marriage. Then I gave an example that you will see one man, then one tiny woman. The woman will bring the man to size. I mean, she will bring him down to reality, cut him down to reality. Then you will see that a whole, I mean, big man like you, one tiny woman is giving you some tough time and is checking you because you refuse to allow the word to check you. And Bible says submitting yourself one to another. So there's a place in marriage where even the man submits to the woman. And there's a place where the woman submits to the man. Even for the woman, that one is mandatory. But for the man, there's also a place where the man submits to the woman in terms of the fact that as a man, for instance, there are instances where you must be able to let go and let your wife have her way. You might be able to compromise, not on spiritual things, not on things that border on life and death or spirituality, but then on things that border on your ego. On your ego, sometimes you must let go. Because you the man, for instance, you must know that the home, you are the ultimate responsibility. If you allow anything to creep into your home, and it's like you just open the door for things to creep into your marriage and into your home, and because you have your ego and you don't want to give in, and she must take what you want. There are times that you two must come down and take what she wants. So there's an element of humility on both sides. The woman too, if you are not humble, you can't submit to your husband, because in most cases you have to take his opinion. Yes, in most cases, take it from me. In most cases, you have to let go and let his opinions prevail. Sometimes you know that you don't trust this decision that he's taking. By all means, let your voice be heard. By all means, state your opinion. But sometimes you know that I must just let him carry it out. Then sometimes you will see that is if it is something that does not border on life and death and on spirituality. Let me give an example. For instance, let's say that you are married, you are a woman, and then you are with your husband, and your husband has been hanging out with bad friends that you know will not help him. If, let's say, some friends who he has been hanging out with, they are not people who are, and you've actually seen that they are influencing him, for the worse. By all means, let your voice be heard. And if he doesn't want to listen to you, go the step further and talk to his authority, anybody who he respects, to talk to him, because that one borders on spirituality. That one is a spiritual issue. If your man falls into bad company, it's going to affect your home, it's going to affect your marriage. So that one, you don't keep quiet about it. But there are many other issues where his opinion, whether you like it or not, you must submit to his opinion. That's why I'm saying that if you are not humble, there's a certain level of submission that you can't carry as a woman. Don't believe what people say that okay, the man should take mine. I've just said that there are times when the man will also have to take or submit, but in most cases it's the woman who will have to, most cases, compromise and yield to the man. Number one, you lose your name and carry his name. You carry his seed for 9 months, and then he will place a name that he likes on the seed. When you finally give birth through the hard process, he will come and place a name that he like. You cannot insist that no, I want you to give him this name. No, no. He will have to give the name. At best, it will have to be a trade-off, a compromise, an agreement. That okay, because I love you, okay, I'll listen to you, I'll do this, I'll do that. But you cannot, for instance, say that, well, name him after my father. If he doesn't want to name him after your father, you have to yield, you have to compromise. There are many other instances, where the woman will, in let's say 7 out of 10 occasions, the woman will have to submit to the man. In 3 out of 10, the man too will have to submit to the woman. Because that's what the Bible started by saying, that submit one to another in the fear of the Lord. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of the Lord. So relationship to authority is very important. So we have to check it. Now, if you see that you have a problem with submission, you must start working on it. If you are a man, you have a problem. There are some men, they have a problem, big problem, with listening to the opinion of their wives or a woman. Big issue, big issue. I mean, big issue. It's like a woman should never offer suggestion, should never have an opinion, should never say some. As we say, that one is wrong. That one is chauvinism. Is wrong. Because, like I said, there are important matters that you must demonstrate that you are a man. For instance, decisions like whether Iraq should attack America, America should attack Iraq, whether Ghana should adopt HIPIC or not. Those are things that you must prove that you are a man. But things like, what food are we going to eat? Where are we going to spend the vacation? And all those things, they are mundane things. I mean, think about the big ones. Big ones. Now, the implications of the socio-economic, political development of society. How Africa can overcome limitations and rise to the top, and all that. How Ghana can take her place back as a leading producer of cocoa. Those things should be your border. Those things prove that you are a man. but things like, oh, what food are we going to eat? He said, no, I insist that you do this, the food. I mean, I insist this, I insist that. That I insist. If you have it in you, that's why some people marry and then they get shocked. Because, and if you don't take care, you will say that the woman has changed. But it's not that she has changed. Because the thing is that she too is a human being. The fact that the Bible says you are the head does not mean that you don't consider what she also feels and maybe what she also thinks. She's also a human being like you. She also has feelings. She also has things that she thinks about. And so you must have the humility to submit in terms of coming to solicit for her views or letting her views be made, to be brought on board. It's very important. It's very important. If you meet people and then you want to marry them, you must ask yourself these questions and find out if the person has those issues. And then you know what to do. You have to help the person. And if you have those issues, to be open, admit it. Because you have some time before you marry, admit it. Otherwise, you will learn it the hard way. You will learn it the hard way. There are people who learn for the very first time that they are nobodies in a marriage. It shouldn't be like that. You should know that you are nobody, You should know that you are nobody before you marry. You shouldn't learn that for the first time in a marriage. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I mean, it's like intentionally reduce yourself so that you will not feel reduced when you marry. Because if you are like, as for me, I had a friend way back in secondary school. When he sleeps, they don't wake him up. That's the tradition, the culture in their home. When he sleeps, nobody should wake him up till he has finished sleeping. Then he wakes up. Then He came to boarding house. If you know you have this uh, gift, this grace, why do you come to boarding house having? If you come to boarding house, life will be unbearable because boarding house they will wake you up with sponge and belt at 5 a.m. And this guy had a big issue. He went to senior, housemaster, big issue. Then later on, the housemaster realized that it was a character problem. See, like it was something that uh, was not corrected. It doesn't have boundaries. How can you say nobody wakes you up till you finish sleeping? So such a person, assuming he doesn't get to secondary school to be taught or to be, brought to reality, he goes to the university, and then in the university too, nobody wakes you up. Then with that same mentality of a king, have you watched Coming to America before? Eddie Murphy. Yes. With that Eddie Murphy mentality, you enter into marriage, expecting that you have to be treated like Eddie Murphy, and when you speak, it's like the lion speak. No, you will get the shock of your life because yes, it's true. The same thing applies to some ladies too. I mean, if you are a lady and you don't reduce yourself, you can't marry. You have to reduce yourself. I'm not saying look down on yourself. What I'm saying is that Jesus Christ made himself of no reputation. Of no reputation. There are certain things you must intentionally forget. You must intentionally forget. There are some ladies, when they marry, they behave as if they are, or when they are in a relationship, they behave as if they are doing the guy a favor. I mean, I'm doing you a favor by marrying you, or by even deciding, saying yes to your proposal. It's a favor. No, it's not. You have not done him a favor. He too has not done you a favor by marrying you. I mean, each of you is lucky to have each other. It's not, not lucky, it's blessed to have each other. It should never be like, oh, you are lucky I came to marry you. Anytime you hear those things, the relationship is lopsided. That's why in a relationship where one party is overly, in quotes, crazy about the other, and it's not reciprocal, there's something wrong with the relationship. When it's maybe the lady who is overly crazy, it's like she has not seen your type before. It's like, this kind of God, I never see your type. And it's not the other way. It's not vice versa. You are also not overly, then it means that there's going to be a problem. So in a relationship, each of you should be happy that you have the other person. And number 3, dealing with conflict. Very important that we learn how to deal with conflict. I think I'll spend one full day talking about conflict resolution because it's very important, very, very important. I've noticed that there are some relationships that do not last, not because the people are bad people, but because they didn't expect any friction. And when they met the friction, they were not fully equipped to handle the friction and to settle the differences. Now, in the first place, every relationship will have conflicts, whether they are pronounced or they are subtle. Some can be very pronounced, and some can also be benign, like there's a conflict, but it depends on your individual personalities. But either way, the most important thing about a relationship is not the absence of conflict, but how conflicts are resolved. Because for as long as you are two different people having two different sets of opinions, there's bound to be conflict. When I say conflict, I'm not talking about fighting or exchanging words. I'm talking about disagreement. Having different positions, divergent views. It's a conflict. Let's go left. No, let's go right. It can be a source of conflict. It can be a source of conflict to the extent that One will say, me, I'm going right. One will say, then I'm going left. So how do we reach a compromise? If, let's say, you are somebody who doesn't like to sleep in the light, with the lights on, then you marry somebody who doesn't like to sleep in darkness. One of you have to either be a fool, because if the two of you are wise, you are going to fight all the time, or you must change places. Today you are a fool, tomorrow I'm a fool, the next day you are a fool. Otherwise, because you just imagine, how is it possible? Let's say it's a single room. If you have 2 rooms, fine. If chamber and hall, fine. But let's say it's a single room. You can't sleep with the lights on. With the lights off. From childhood, you are afraid. So you always want the lights on. Okay? This one is used to sleeping with a fan. This one is not used to sleeping with a fan. So how do you settle it? One by all means, one will have to sacrifice. Or then let's reach a compromise. So I'll put a fan on when it's 12 midnight, then we'll put it off. Or we put it on when it's 12, we put it off when it's 12 midnight, then we put it so that you will enjoy 6 hours. I enjoy 6 hours. So two people were fighting, and they said that they wanted to divide their room into 2. So then the woman said, okay, I'll take from down to this high. You can take the you can take. That's why and the Bible says that it's better to dwell on the corner of a roof than to dwell with a nagging woman. That's what it means, to dwell in. So now handling conflict, we have to study it. Study it. Know that when there's conflict, it doesn't mean that the relationship is bad. It doesn't mean that the person is bad. When there's agreement, it doesn't mean the person. Sometimes it can be a clash of personalities. Sometimes you are getting to know each other, so there's bound to be some rough edges that need to be smoothed out. Sometimes it's a lack of understanding or a misunderstanding, of each other's maybe uniqueness in a way. But you see that with time, with patience, and that's one virtue that we must all pray for. Patience. We must pray that God should help us, give us a lot of patience in relationships, because that will settle many things. There are many things they are just like the weather. If you don't like it, you just leave it and watch it. It will just change, because it's just like the weather pattern. It changes. Okay, so you will see that with patience, certain things can be handled, and they can be conformed. Now, if you see that you are still not getting it, then you have to also look at yourself. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, am I not the one who is not seeing right? Am I not the one who is becoming unreasonable? Am I not the one who is being unreasonable? Or ask yourself those questions. That's one. Okay. Then also, the person who you are in a relationship with, that person should not be somebody that you cannot tell when you are hurt. Before even the marriage, not after marriage, you tell. You can't hide it. But before the marriage, you must learn how to be frank and open with a person, that this thing I didn't like it. This thing I didn't like it. Now, don't think that there's going to be a constant eruption of arguments and fights. No. On the contrary, you are going to help each other to become better. You are going to help each other to become better, because you are going to improve upon your relationship. Because let's say that, and don't also think that if I'm to point these things out, it will be like I'm always complaining. You'll be like, I'm always complaining. Then, if you can't also hold it in your chest, well, then what do? I mean, if you have to complain, you have to draw the person's attention 10 times a day, you can do it. You can do it. You can draw his attention in advance. 10 times a day, so multiply by 7 days, 70 times. Write it 70 times, give it to him. 10 for each day in a week. Don't do this. Don't do this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I mean, by all means, don't hide things. Don't ignore things. Then also, the way a person reacts to conflict is also very important. You must necessarily find it out so that you know how to deal or handle that person. There are some people, when there's an issue, they recoil into their shells. And it's very difficult for you to get them to come out of their shell to even admit that there's an issue. There are some people, when there's an issue and then you face the issue, you face it, they withdraw. So we have those who recoil, we have those who withdraw. There are people, when you put the issue before them, they become apprehensive, they become defensive. So if people react to conflict in several ways. You may meet somebody who, let's say that the person has done something. The person has done something wrong. Then you tell the person. And because of that, let's say maybe the person said something you didn't like. You told the person will say, oh, okay, then I have to be quiet when I'm around you. I'm not saying be quiet when you're around me. I'm only saying be careful with your choice of words. Why are you stretching it to mean that then I have to be quiet when I'm around you? So then I won't talk. So when I'm around you, I'll keep quiet. Then why are you quiet? When I talk, you will say that I've spoken against you. So me too. Meaning kasa. Come on, no, it won't help the relationship. If you are like that, you must change. And if the person too is like that, you must help the person to change. It's not going to be easy, but you must help the person to change. And you need to have patience to help such people to change. Because number one, you must not get angry. The moment you get angry, you cannot help the person. You must have a lot of patience to be able to observe, to be able to help the person. Sometimes, if you are the type that is, it's like you can make light of big deals, the better. I get what I'm saying. If you have people who can lighten burdens, the better. There are some people when they see that you have withdrawn, they will come to you. They will come to you. They will do anything to get you to talk. And sometimes they will even apologize for making you feel bad, just to get you to talk. I mean, if you don't have patience, you can't do that. You also say that, well, why didn't I make kind of that kind of thing. So that is number 3. Okay. Number 4, handling crisis. Handling crisis. A crisis is a situation that defies planning, orderly planning, that defies experience, that defies your aptitude. You can come into a situation where it's not like you have not done everything, but it's still not working. And believe you me, in life, you will come across crisis situations. And let me tell you something. The true test of friendship or loyalty in friendship is not when there's peace or, as it were, everything is cozy, But when there is crisis, that is when you truly see people. That's why even in marriage, to really know that what you are made up of, you must wait for the seasons to change. When there is crisis situation, that's when we know what the stuff you are made up of. Because there are seasons we go through in life. Like I spoke about the four pairs of season: seed time, harvest, cold, heat, winter, summer, day, night. So the night season may be the crisis moment where you don't see your way forward clearly. It's not like that was what it used to be. For instance, after marriage, there could be loss of job. God forbid, there could be sickness. God forbid, there could be things because we are not in the Garden of Eden. Things can happen. You see, and when things happen, that is when the true test of love and loyalty is. It's not when everything is all right, you are moving about, everything is cozy. That's what we believe God for, right? Okay, so we are not saying that when you are there, then you are expecting bad things to happen. No, but if if it happens that something happens, how are you going to react to it? Now, you will see how he or she handles crisis by certain things uh, that take place in the relationship. But just that, just that you overlook them because of love. Failure of an exam, loss of a loved one, loss of money, loss of precious things, um, some kind of failure. Some kind of failure. You will see that people usually react to failure in different ways. There's a type who react to failure by contemplating, by thinking that that's the end for me, end of the road. It's like some people can fail exams and say, I wish like dying, I'll kill myself. Some people can use that emotional, it's like an emotional web to enslave people. For instance, you need to break a relationship. I mean, I'm not saying you want to break it. You need to break it. You need to break it. But this other party is behaving as if he or she will die if you break the relationship. Such a person, for instance, when there's crisis, he can't stand. He can't stand the crisis. He can't stand the crisis. When there's a crisis, the person will betray you because even just this little crisis, look at how the person is reacting. This little issue, this, and you will see that. So those things you must watch out for those things. If you don't wait till you marry before you are shocked. Let me tell you, there's a tendency to have surprises in marriage because it doesn't matter how long you court. There are still things you will find out only after you are married. But the surprise and the shock and the adjustment can be greatly reduced if you are already armed with certain truth. Okay, so you will know. For instance, I wrote in one of the articles that the love feelings that we have for one another, for each other, those love feelings, they have a very short lifespan. Those feelings, their lifespan is just after honeymoon. In fact, even when they granted that it's so long after 1 year. Even 1 year is too long. Those kind of butterfly feelings, but oh yes, those kind of butterfly feelings of love that you feel that I'm in love. That feeling, the lifespan is very short. When you get married, you will see that you will have to intentionally generate those feelings. Otherwise, they will never come back. Oh yes, yes, I'm telling you the truth. Otherwise, Otherwise, they will never come back. If you don't intentionally generate those feelings, they will not come, because it's not supposed to last the whole life. That's why occasionally Bible says return to your first love. The first love feeling is there. You lose it. Then you have to return to it from time to time. Return to it. So those feelings, they have a short lifespan. If you know this, if you are armed with that truth, and then you get married, honeymoon, then you are cruising on the lake, and the man is using the fork to take food to put in your mouth, and then you are slapping each other with a laugh. You know, laugh slap, laugh slap. You are doing laugh hide and seek, running along the banks, along the beach. You know, in each other's arms. You know, being swept off the floor. You know, breakfast in bed. Yes, those things, they have a very short lifespan. After honeymoon, at most, after 1 year, those things, they will just vanish. You'll vanish. And if you are not armed, if you are not forearmed, you would think that there's something wrong with you. And you would think that your marriage is failing. Because you have built your marriage paradise on feelings and on these things. But then you will know that if you want those things to come back, you will have to intentionally generate them. Before marriage, listen, in courtship, you don't struggle to generate those things. Because number one, in courtship, you have not gotten used to each other that much. In courtship, for instance, everybody put the best foot forward. Anytime I see you, you are in makeup. You have your makeup on, your nice dress, your hair is trimmed. You know, if you're a guy, anytime before you meet her, you make sure that everything is all right. You know, you are well kept, everything. You know, but what about when you marry and then you don't have that luxury of time, or let's say you don't have that opportunity to be covering those things? You can't cover them. I mean, I see you as you wake up from bed. Even when you were asleep, I saw you drooling, you know, snoring. When you wake up from bed, you see the person in the raw state like Adam and Eve. It's not like, not the polished state. Yes, yes. So we get used to each other quickly in marriage. In marriage, when you are not married, for instance, when you are in courtship, if let's say perchance your eyes chance on something, you see the reaction. You understand what I'm trying to say? You see the reaction. Eesh. It's like, or if let's say something, you know, like you see something goes through you like that, you know. Now, when you marry, for instance, you can see your spouse nakedness, and it doesn't, because you haven't seen him or her all the time. It's not any big deal. So therefore, if so, how you go, so the thing is that it's intentional. I get TV. It's intentional, and those feelings too are intentional. You have to make up your mind that it's not automatic that I'm going to be experiencing those things in marriage. You have to intentionally create them, and don't think your husband has lost it if he's not like doing those things that he used to do during courtship days. No, and don't think your wife too has lost it. You have to be forearmed. These days, people go with wrong expectations in marriage, and that they see things. They have fantasies. Listen, the fantasies are not the reality. A fantasy, you can sit here and build a huge mansion, like I've built my mansion in my mind. Nobody will arrest me for building the mansion in your mind. I get me. You can build a mansion within minutes, but in reality, putting up a structure, many things will come in. Money will come in, time will come in. You have to, sweat will come in, sacrifice will come in, labor will come in. So you see that when you translate it to the real life, that's when you know the real life. So when I meet people, for instance, who, let's say, they just escaped, they escaped You know, there are some parts of our life that we are unreal. We are unreal. It's not a real life. It's like a cartoon world. When you are growing, when you are not, you see, when you are still dependent on your parents, okay, and they make choices for you and all that, that life is unreal. You are in a cartoon world. You don't have a border, don't have a burden. When you are hungry, you just go and tell your mother, I'm hungry. You don't care where the food is coming from. Are you getting me? You don't care where the food is coming from. You don't care where the money is coming from. Your father is there to give you money. Your mother is there to give you money. You don't care where the money is coming from. That is a cartoon aspect of life. You know what I mean by cartoon aspect? A cartoon life is very easy, very fast. A cartoon you can kill a cartoon. It can be overrun by a heavy truck. As soon as the truck passes, then it gets up. Jerry can use something to hit Tom. Then Tom will just go down, then he will spring up like that. That's a cartoon world. It's not real, right? Now, when you start life, you start work. That's when you start learning. That's when you start learning. That's why people who fall in love during the cartoon stage, if they don't go through maturity, when they finally end up in marriage, they have issues. Because they think that the cartoon world is a real world. In the cartoon world, for instance, you just dream and you just have it. But in the real world, you don't just dream and you have it. You dream, you have to work, dig, sweat. You have to go through delays. The real world is like that. The real world is not like the cartoon, where everything is swift, fast. No, I need this, then it comes. No, the real world, you have to go through process. You see, maybe you are imagining your role models are people who have made it in this life. Maybe your role models are maybe people in showbiz who have made it, and they are showing their mansions, and you see that in their house, for instance, if you are a lady, for instance, they have a lot of servants serving, doing things in the house and all that. And that is the imaginary world. In the real life, you may not have that luxury. So you must adjust your thinking. You may not have that luxury in the real world. And believe me, when you marry, nobody is going to come and give you money. Your parents will not come and say you are married, so take this every morning. Take this. No, it's not done. It's not done anywhere. How you get TV? So you must adjust your thinking. Prepare yourself that in the real world, things are different from the cartoon world. That's why I don't trust cartoon relationships. And you know, cartoon people who enter relationships still in the cartoon age, it's a cartoon stage. Their whole minds are like, in life is just one step, then you are there. It's just one step, then you are there. When they meet challenges, then you see that they are not prepared, they are not equipped. Especially people from so-called well-to-do homes, you know, like well-to-do home. Most of them are not prepared for life at all. At all. Unless there was a conscious effort to prepare you for life. Most of them are not prepared for life. They have not faced any reality of life before. I get to be. Everything is done for them. Everything is so. When they come face to face with issues, that's when the real test comes in. But when you meet somebody who has been living on the street since childhood, then you why say koto. Those people they have been living. People who started taking care of themselves when they were going to school, for instance, they know how to handle money. Yeah, they know how to handle money. But if, let's say, everything is given to you, you may not know, you may have to consciously learn how to handle money or how to keep it, how you get to you. So, equip yourself and know that these things will come. Crisis may come. Pastor Adams preached a message. He said that it won't be well forever, so seize the moment. It appears a negative topic, but it's very real. And just, I think this week I was going through my camp meeting notes and I saw the topic and I said, wow. So it won't be well, things will not be like this forever, so seize the moment. You may not have the comfort that you're having today when you get married. I'm not saying that, but you may not have it. You may not have it. Maybe now in your home you use washing machine. Okay. Okay, washing machine, you can afford it. It's not expensive. But let's assume that maybe you have not yet been able to afford the washing machine as a married couple. You have started a life. You are so used to washing machine. That's all the laundry you know how to. Even though in this part of the world, when you go to school, for instance, you learn to wash, right? The reason is simple. In this part of the world, not everybody will start life with a washing machine. So how do you adjust from washing machine to washing machineless? Now you are washing machineless. How do you adjust? You must. That's a crisis for somebody. For somebody, that's a crisis. For somebody, you are always chauffeur driven, forgetting that the car you are riding is not yours. And when you marry, you will not take the car to your marriage. Okay, so you are chauffeur driven. Now you have gotten married. Now there's no car. It's a crisis for some people. How do you adjust? Paul said that I've learned to abase and abound. I've learned how to adjust in times of plenty and in times of little. And we must also conscientize ourselves that life is not going to be rosy all the time. See, when we say people are enjoying marriage, listen, it's not like you will not have opportunities to create a fight or to stretch a matter or to harbor an offense that, both of you are so perfect that there's no opportunity. No. It's maturity that makes you able to have to cover each other, to forgive each other, to gloss over certain things, to settle things amicably. It's maturity. It's not like magic that they are so perfect that neither of them offend the other, and so they are so perfect. So people sometimes somebody said, they made a comment, and it was funny to me. You look at, he said that, I want to marry a woman who, when you say sleep, she will sleep. Then you go back and find her sleeping. Then I said, are you going to pay her for sleeping? If you are going to pay her for sleeping, then you can find her sleeping for as long as you want her to sleep. But you're not going to pay for sleeping. Why should she sleep? Because you said you should sleep, and then you go, and then you come back and she's sleeping. You don't have to be having that expectation. One thing I prayed for before marriage, because I said that I don't want a yes woman, a woman who cannot express herself, who can, like somebody who always have to, excuse me, to be doing yes. That's not healthy. It won't help you. How you get even? It won't help you. You don't have to marry. Get that out of your mind. If you're a man, get it out of your mind that when we say a humble person, a humble wife, it's a wife that you can use as a doormat. A wife that you can use as a doormat, that she has no rights, she has no opinion, that when you say, hey, then she runs to hide. No, she will not run to hide. That's not the Bible's definition of humility. I've come to realize that what we call humility is far from humility. People who don't have confidence, we say they are humble. Not having confidence does not mean you are humble. Or if you're a shy person, it doesn't mean you're a humble person. You say, this is a very humble person. Why? Because he doesn't talk. He's very shy. Even when you give the microphone to him, he can't speak. He's hiding behind. They say, he's a very humble person. That's not humility. No. So humility is this. Humility is how you relate to people who are under you. That's humility. That's humility. How you relate to people who are under you. That's humility. Humility is not like soft-spoken. If you are soft-spoken, if you walk like Miss Havisham, like Catherine Coleman walks, like as if she's floating. You don't want to step even on the ground lest you kill an ant. That's not humility. We must understand that in our culture, anybody who speaks a lot, we say the person is proud. The person is not humble. And that's one mistake that I decided I will never make among my children. They are different. There are some of them who speak. Others are reserved. I've never said that. Look at so and so. Can't you see that she doesn't talk? She's always quiet. I've never used quietness to measure my children's whether they are doing good or doing bad. I don't use that because I know that this one likes talking. Allow her to talk. She likes talking. This one doesn't like talking. That's her nature. In some things, you deal with this one, you deal with that one according to their nature. And anytime they try to shut down the one who likes talking, I reprimand them. I tell them, look, don't do that. Don't do that. The fact that she likes talking is not bad. It's not a bad thing. I get TV. It's a personality and temperament. But in our culture, when a child is outspoken, we say, "Biano, pinisem, one more thing, oh pekasa, biano." So children are timid; they can't express themselves. And even if you are a lady now, thank God, it's changing. Those days, I mean, you will not even be given a dog chance. I mean, not even to say something. You will just be shut. So prepare for crisis. Don't expect crisis, but prepare for it. Are you getting me? Don't expect crisis. Don't expect negative changes, but prepare for it. Prepare that. Make up your mind. If this is a person you want to marry, imagine yourself with a person in times of difficulties. Don't let your imagination all be in times of ease. That your fantasies are, with this person, we'll be traveling around the world. I imagine with our children, we are cruising on the lake. We are traveling around the world. We are moving from city to city. I can imagine this kind of family we are having. Fine. When you imagine that, then also imagine that with this person, we've gotten married, and things are not as I expected. What am I going to do? God forbid. God forbid. God forbid. You've gotten married. You are not yet giving birth to a child. You will always give birth to a child, but maybe 2 years the child has not come. So, how are you going to react? Have you thought about that? I'm not saying expect that, but be prepared that life is not one step. Neither is it one long asphalt journey. There can be potholes in life. There can be speed ramps in life. There can be twists and turns in life. When you see people who have married for a long time, they have seen life together in all seasons. In season of plenty, season of lack, season where things are falling apart, season of difficulty, season of ease. That is what makes a matured marriage. Anything in life that has gone through seasons is matured, including marriage, including human beings. A mature person is somebody who has been through seasons. The difference between you and I is because what I've been through, you have not been through yet. I've married, you have not married, right? So I can share things about marriage that you don't know, right? Okay, yeah. So that's the difference in life. Now, a matured ministry is a ministry that has survived many things. A matured business is a business that has survived many things. Economic downturn, depression, victimization, whatever, has survived all these things. Is a matured business. A matured marriage is also a marriage that has stood strong in the changing seasons of life. So, don't expect evil, don't expect a crisis, but be prepared. Develop shock absorbers. Shocks. Shock absorbers. Because this is the guy you want to marry. Now, your vision is you are going to marry in 2004. Okay, 24. Now you've completed school. There's no job. God forbid. There's no job. But that's a reality. People sometimes struggle to get jobs, especially in this economy. And so what is how is it going to affect the relationship? Not all our plans come through. Some fall through. It's like I'm speaking. I don't have faith. I'm just speaking without faith. Yeah, just pardon me, pardon me. I know you have faith. I don't have faith. I don't have faith. That's why I'm speaking like that. Yeah, yes, I don't have faith, but it will help you. It's not only faith that we use to live. Oh. The just shall live by faith. Yes, yes. But when I say it's not only faith, it's not only positive thinking. Faith is different from positive thinking. But the dreams you have, it may happen that God may have other plans. God may have other plans, or the dreams themselves, they may not go through. What are you going to do? So learn how to handle crisis. Okay. Should I continue as you stop? I should stop. Okay. Okay. Handling offenses. Handling offenses. That is also an aspect that we should watch. We should work on. We should help each other to work on. Because offenses must come. Not that they should come. Must come. Offenses must come. Always compare marriage to two people in a lift. On a long journey. Two people in a lift on a long journey. Let's say 10,000 story, 100,000 story building. Just the two of you in the lift. Look at the kind of closeness with little space, little room to maneuver. And you are more like caught, locked, in that small box for a long stretch. By all means, when you lift your hand, it can touch the other person. If you want to run, for instance, it will by all means affect the other person. That's why Jesus said that offenses must come. Anytime you are close with somebody, know that it has the potential for offenses. The more you are getting close, put it in your mind that this same person that I love so much, he or she is the same person that I can hate so much. See, Jesus Christ said that make sure the light in you does not turn into darkness. Because if the light turns to darkness, how great the darkness will be. Do you know, the closer you are to a person, even that I can't say that they are a ben nature. They are a ben nature. So the closer you get to people, the greater the potential for offense. That's why people don't understand. When you are getting close to people, put it in your mind. When people are getting close to you, put it in your mind that these people who are getting close to me, they are the same people who must offend me, because those who are outside cannot offend you. Those who are at an arm's length, those who are afar, cannot. How can they offend you? It is those who are close to you, because you get to observe their body language. You get to hear what they did not say. Sometimes there are things you say what you did not say. Say, for you have said in your heart, I will ascend. In your heart, you said it. Now, that's and what you say in your heart can be expressed on your face. When people are close to you, that's when their body language, if the person makes a face like that, then you can know that maybe the person is saying this or saying. But if you are far, how can I know the face you make? But when you are close, I can look at your face. Oh, you are frown. So we must understand that offenses must come in any close relationship. It must come. But how do you handle them? That's what is important. How do you handle them? See, if you learn to forgive, it will get to a point where before the offense comes, you are forgiving. Then you can have a smooth relationship. Because you are forgiving in advance. Somebody said that marriage is a relationship in which the two people have decided to forgive each other in advance. That's one person's definition of marriage. So I'm not trying to say that, I'm not saying expect it. What I'm saying is that it will come, but let beware of how you handle offenses. Ask yourself, how have you seen offenses being handled? And what did you pick from it? How do you handle offenses yourself? When people offend you, what do you do? Your personality can, some people, the way they are, if you offend them, they will just let you know you're offended and then go their way. I mean, those ones, they don't have much problems with offenses because they will not trap any offense. It will just enter and then it leaves, it goes. But there are others who process things. They think about things deeply. So they sometimes even dissect what you said, and then they bring out the pros and cons, the subtitles, the subtitles and the motive and the reasoning behind what you said. There are some people, when you tell them something, they will process it through their mail. They will process the thing, and the more you process things, the more the things are trapped in you, and the more you can't let go. The more you can't let go. So, if you are that type, you need to start praying before you start praying now that the Lord should help you forgive easily. Because I've realized that in this life, if you don't learn to forgive easily, one day you'll be working and then you explode. You will just explode, bam, like that. Yes. If you don't, because just as you are forgiving somebody, another one comes. It's like, Manugusu Ameda was see. Also, that's the picture. Wanugusu I wouldn't have seen no idea who's for. Never got nothing that's the eba. So Wanugusu made check will be never frost the eba. That is how offenses are. So you have to make up your mind that I'm going to forgive easily. There are some people in your life you must vow, and not vow, but you must allow God to help you never to have conflict with them. It's true. There are people in your life, not everybody, but there are some people in your life, you must allow God to help you never to have any conflict with them. Avoid it. Run away from it. Change direction. Change the subject. Because if you have conflict with them, it's going to be very difficult. Bible says a brother offended is more difficult to win than a city. A brother offended is more difficult to win than taking a city. I mean, look at that. Somebody you ate with from the same bowl. Now, the person, you have offended the person, and it is now becoming bitterness, and it's now becoming malice. It will take a lot of effort to bring the two together. So don't start. The Bible said at the beginning of strife is like piercing a hole through a dam. Beginning of strife, it's like piercing a dam, with a sharp object. As the water starts coming, then it starts breaking more. The hole becomes bigger, becomes bigger. A time comes where the dam is broken. That is the beginning of strife. So, if you are married, for instance, you must make up your mind that there's nothing that should happen that will let me stretch it and take offense at this person, because whether you like it or not, you are in the lift with a person on a long journey. You better make up your mind. The same thing applies to people in your life, not only marriage. There are certain relationships that you must protect them at all costs. At all costs. There are certain things, if you tell me about some people, I will avoid it. I will not prefer, I will not allow you to continue. I will just change the subject. unless maybe I have seen it, because you can spoil my heart. But I need that relationship. There's somebody who he said that, in Akan, you don't have to marry from the same family or clan as your spouse, something like that. So somebody was talking about those things. Then he said that, look, if the two of you are from this clan and you marry, it is Mujafra, that kind of thing. Then the man asked the other man, he said that, have you checked that of your wife? He said, no, I don't want to check anything. I don't want any trouble. What if I check and then we are in the same? then matter don't come, because this one I can't do anything about it. There are some relationships you must protect at all costs. You must protect. You see, not all relationships are the same. There are some, they are very, very, very vital to your destiny, to your life. You must protect them at all costs. And you will learn to do that. You must never, you must run away from having issues with some people in your life. People, for instance, let me give some few examples. Spiritual and physical. Your parents, never put yourself in a position where you will have to, you put yourself in a position where you will live in conflict with your parents. It's not good. It's not good. I'm not saying that you will like everything they do, and I'm not saying you should not speak or protest. What I'm saying is that it gets to a point you must cut the thing short, because you still need them. Your spouse, the same thing. It will get to a point. It gets to a point you must cut the thing short. Your spiritual authority figure, the same thing. It gets to a point you must cut it short. Somebody who you need in your life. People sometimes they go to places where, let's say, this person is your boss. I was talking about strategic relationship, right? This person is your boss. You need his recommendation, for your next level. Now, it's not like he's doing something evil. That one you shouldn't compromise, right? But maybe he spoke to you in a way that was harsh. That should not let you destroy the relationship. Put your mind on the greater good, on what you want. Don't bang the door on him, because you may need that same door. You need to come back through that same door to collect a testimonial. So some relationship must be preserved at all costs. The only time relationship must be allowed to be destroyed is when there's an element where you must compromise on your Christian principles, and that one you must allow it to be destroyed. God himself will know how to save the righteous from trouble. But otherwise, apart from that, there are some relations that you must keep. So offense handling, you need to sit down with the one that you intend to marry and examine each other. Ask questions. I've seen that this is how you handle offense. Okay, let's talk. When I do something you don't like, please, this is the way I want you to let me know. Don't be, what do you call this one? This is not winking. No. Winking is this. This one. What do you call that one? What do you call that one? Chuckle. Chuckle. Wow. I thought chuckle was more like a sudden laughter or something. What? Hey, that. Yeah, but what about the one that you roll your eyes? That one, what is it? Somebody was a school prefect, and he said that he went to school. One of my brothers went to school, and he was school prefect. Then the people, the students were late, so they had to go and catch them, latecomers. And these guys started running. And all the prefects stopped chasing one particular guy. He was the one who kept chasing the guy. When he got there, the guy said, Menisu brim. And the teacher was standing there. What is he saying? And my brother didn't know what he said in English. So he was just sat there. So his eyes are turning around. Okay. Overriding passion. What is his or her overriding passion? Very important. Pa- Passion, there are different kind of passion, but we have overriding passion. Know that overriding passion. You must know it. Know yours. Know his or her own. There are some people, their overriding passion is to help people. They can't stand they can't stand the sight of people going through issues. That's the over. I'm not talking about the work of God. That my passion is the work of God. No, I'm talking about something that makes you tick. It makes you tick. That's your overriding passion. Something that can easily bring, or let's say, disorganize your mood, organize your thinking. So when you see this, you can't stand. You must know that about your spouse to be. You know, um, there was one man of God who said that the very first time he had a conflict with his wife was in connection with a house help, because he grew up as a houseboy and he knew how it was to to live with somebody with and then be giving food to eat and all that. He said one day he was going to buy food and motorcycle hit him, and then one woman who took him up and dressed him and helped him. That woman is now a member of his church. At the time he was a houseboy living with some people. So he said when he got married, he came home one day, then he saw the food the girl was eating. Then he went to the table and saw his food. And he asked the wife, who gave this food to this girl? And the wife said, I did it. It's not bad food. Then he took his own food and broke the plate. Then his own food that was on the table, he took it and then broke it. Then he said, when you feed her, then you feed me. And even as he was saying, tears, because he has been through it before. So that's what is his overriding passion. Overriding passion. Are you getting me? Overriding passion. So there are some people, they hate to see people being cheated. Everybody hates to see cheating, okay, injustice. But there are some, they hate it with passion. Maybe because they've been through such things before. So when they see that you are cheating people, they can't stand it. Yes, that's the person's overriding passion. There's some people, their overriding passion is to explain things to people. Let people get things. I met somebody who said that when he's walking at a doom, he's opening his mouth because he's so boiled up with what is going on currently in the church that it's like he wants the young people to get this, to get that, to get that, to get that, and he's always talking to himself, And I say, be careful. One day you may charge on somebody, an innocent person, before you realize you are hitting the person. So find that one out, okay? Who or what can change his or her mind? Very important. There are some people, it's very difficult to change their mind. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. See, sometimes, I remember there was a time where I used to tell myself that I wish I was like somebody who was very strong, with strong opinions, that nothing can change my mind. If I say this, I will just say it and say it and say it. Then I realized that apart from the word of God, we don't have to have strong opinion that cannot change. I saw some people who were like that, and it was like, even if the thing is wrong, that's what I want it to be done. I just do it this way. No, I just do it, And they are kind of leadership sort of. I admired it, because they were able to get some things done. When I sat there, I realized that whenever he's not around, things slack. And whenever they are not around, and whenever they are around, people become sycophants. People who are around them become sycophants, because they are strong leaders. they are opinionated and no for an answer, no room for discussion. They will just do this and it's fine now. You can't change it. I've just said it. I don't care your feelings and all that. And I realized that, and we were in the same group, and I realized that this leader, those around him, they are sycophants. They always sing praises, his praises. They always say things that will please him because they know that he cannot tolerate divergent views. He can't. And when he speaks, there's no room for explanation. You can't come and say, I've just spoken. Then when I sat down, I realized, I said, no, this thing is not the best after all. I mean, I think you can get the same results by allowing people to think, allowing them to also express themselves, getting to know what they think. Sometimes what they think may even be better, may even carry out a better way than what you are proposing. And you may have to end up taking their suggestions. And you will see the same results, but this time with strengthened relationship, than for you to say that nothing can change your mind. There's a saying that only a fool does not change his mind. Everybody, at a point, you can change your mind. Apart from things that are in Scripture, those ones, they are statutes. Statutes are things that are cast in concrete. As a believer, there are things that, no matter what, your mind is the same. There are some people, before they come to me, they know my answer. They know my answer. There are some people who hide things from me because they know my answer. So they hide things from me because they know my answer. I mean, they know that if you come and tell me this, I'll say, no, this, that. That's the word. That's the scriptures. But not in life. In real life, I should be able to listen to you, get to know what you think and why you think that way. Weigh it and see if it's going to help. Let's try it and see. Unless, of course, it's something that comes straight from Scripture. So, if you don't know what can make a person change his mind, or who can make a person change his mind, is quite dangerous. You must know. There are some people. Somebody was telling me that he knows somebody who also knows somebody. When he gets angry, it takes approximately 4 days to cool down. 4 days to cool down. When she gets angry, it takes 4 days. 4 days to cool down. And that 4 days, it's not just anybody who can cool her down. There's one particular person that can cool her down. And you need to know so that you can calculate your steps. Now, okay, today I'm going to offend her, and for the next 4 days, no food for me. So you offend her on Friday, travel, then you come back on Tuesday, then everything is set. You have to know. You have to know. Yeah. Then the last one, thing that we must take note of personally, personal habits. We must take note of that. This one we apply it to ourselves and then to the other person. Cleanliness, which they say is next to godliness. We must look at that. We must not gloss over that. We must watch it. Both the guy and the lady, but the lady especially. I have a reason for saying that. Because, for instance, if you go to boys' school, for instance, boys' school. I was in boys' school for 7 years, and I went to a male hall for 3 years at the university. So I know what I'm talking about. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's not. But girls' school is a big deal. Girls' school, they are very strict on matters of hygiene and all that. Because of infections and all that, they are very strict, And so, as a guy, let me stress on the guys, because for the ladies, most of the time, as you are growing up, you are taught to observe cleanliness on your body and maybe in your environment. The guys too, we must take it seriously. I mean, as a guy, You don't have to. This one is not money. It's not money about money. I mean, don't wear the same shirt twice without washing. Okay, you wear it today. Make sure you wash before you wear. You can wear it today and Tuesday because you washed it on Monday. Are you getting me? Never wear a shirt and say that you have worn a shirt today and then tomorrow you are wearing the same shirt unless you have only one shirt. Unless it's only one shirt. If it's more than one shirt, I have a friend where in secondary school he had only one school uniform, but he was very neat. Very, very neat. Sometimes he will wash and stand there, make sure that the thing is dry, you know, and he always appeared neat. But he didn't have that much money, so he had only one uniform. So then the underwears, the singlets, the boxers, and all that, that one is even worse. You never wear a boxer for more than once. Never wear a singlet for more than once. It's bad. It's not good. Yes, these things, people sometimes think that they are not important. They are important. They are important. It's not good. It can affect you. You don't know. You may not know. People can give you names without telling you. As soon as you come, prekese never know. Ufri Krutia. Ufri Krutia. Prekese Jamedu never know. Nana prekese never. I mean, yes, let's be frank. You know, God made us from the dust, right? He didn't make the woman from the dust, but for the guys, he made us from the dust. So, I mean, I'm not saying if you are, most of the work that we do as men, they are dirty, they will make you dirty. Most of the work that men do, because men will have to work hard, carry stuff and all that. So look at the jobs that men do. That if you go to the magazine, Swan magazine, few women are there. Few women are mechanics. And the men are mechanics. You see their working gear. You know, they lie down under cars and all that. So that's meant for you. That's meant for you. But washing is not a bad thing. Bathing twice is a must. Brushing your teeth twice is a must. As a guy, shaving is a must. You should not go unshaved, armpits and everywhere. I mean, you should shave. Yes. Do you know sometimes body odor comes because hair has trapped sweat in parts of your body, and you must shave. Yeah. Yes. Is it not true? It's true. I mean, it's true. It's true. Yeah, it's true. So it's very important. Apart from that, our environment too should be clean. Okay, even as ladies, your environment too should be clean. Because whether you like it or not, when people come to your house, you are the one they are going to tag. It's you they are going to tag, not the man. It's true. It's you. When the house is dirty, they'll say, hey. When they enter your kitchen and it's dirty, they'll say, hey, you. They will not mention the man's name. They'll say, you. Yeah. So, cleanliness, I don't think I should belabor the point, but it's very necessary that we do it. If you observe any odor, or is it odor or odor or order on you, please treat it. Be mindful of it. Before you wear a shirt, smell. If there is sweat, don't wear. Especially t-shirts. T-shirts. There are some t-shirts, sweat can become a permanent thing in it. Throw it away. So before you wear the shirt, smell it and see. If there's sweat, don't wear. Wear another one. Always check sweat and the smell of sweat. Always check. You may not know. Maybe it can be a reason. You may not know. Now, there are some that you have to seek treatment with other materials. Maybe deodorant, lime is the cheapest and the most effective. Deodorant too is there. There are other things people can recommend and all that, other soaps and all that. Socks. Make sure they are well kept. Yes. I mean, appearance is very important, especially if you want to marry. Especially if you want to marry. Now, if you are an usher, you must always make sure that you smell your mouth before you go and talk to somebody. Do this. When you do this, you smell. You smell your mouth. Sometimes you have to take fresh water, maybe get a gum. You have to smell it because, or let's say, one day I went to the barbering shop and this guy was shaving my hair, and then they have to use a blade to trim this part, the mustache and all that, and the smell from the hand. I think he had eaten something, twice. Once he had eaten something like kinky and fish, and the thing was, even that one was not as bad as the other one, because the other one was weed. Other one I think he had smoked weed or something, and the smell. So I told him that, look, you have to wash your hand because you are using your hand to shave people. You have to wash your hand. Recently, I told one barber, I said, look, we are in Corona time. Your hand that you are bringing to my mouth, sanitize it. Use gloves or sanitize it. Because the smell from the hand was not good. Even when you are laying hands on people, you must check and see. Sometimes, otherwise, you may do some impartation. You must check and see. Recently, I got to Linda Door and I was buying roasted plantain. Then the woman used the hand. I said, Madam, we've stopped that thing. And then Corona time, I said, there are some, your friends say, those things, you can use those things. But I said, no. There have been occasions where I've taken off. I won't buy. Yes, one woman like that, I'm coming to buy something. Then, as she was coming, she picked her nose. And I suspected that she was going to use her hand to take the thing for me. So by the time she said, oh, tossing, I just left. So you see that she has lost a customer because of personal cleanliness. You can lose a customer because of that. You may not know. They will, and the sad thing is that they may never tell you. As I left, I told myself, this is my lifestyle. And I never told them. So I was like, how many people are like me who will never tell them, who will not come back again? Till today, I've not been to those places again. And just that one of them who was close to us, I told the woman that, look, your sales boy and your sales girl, they are destroying your work. Because when people are there waiting, that's where they are coming to play their love. And they are hitting each other and they are not serious. I mean, people are there waiting to be served. A long queue. Then that's where you are doing laughing and you giggling here and doing exchanging well. I said, we don't do those things. You can do those things after work. When you come to work, you are serving people, be serious. So cleanliness, very important. Irresponsibility. We must also look at that one. Taking responsibility is very important. I mean, own up, take action. Own up, accept blame, accept responsibility. People like to accept the glory, but not the responsibility. Accept responsibility. Okay, I did it. It's my fault. It's my fault. Okay, it's my fault. I did it. Don't pass the buck. Laziness. Laziness too is a habit that we must overcome. Too much sleep, not getting up early, not being able to rise to the occasion. You have to meet a deadline. You are always late. You have to get up, go and meet somebody for an important appointment. You can't get up early. We should check that. We should check laziness. And by laziness, you see it from those things. The way you even wake up from bed and get down from your bed, you can see whether you are exhibiting laziness or not. The way you stretch, you wind. Some people, the way they will twist and turn before they get out of their bed, you can see that they are struggling to get up. And sometimes that also leads to inertia, the difficulty to move when you should move. Those attitudes, they hamper growth, personal growth. You will miss many things if you don't learn to move. You don't learn to overcome inertia, especially when you are starting something. When you are starting something, there's always the tendency that you can give 1,001 reasons why you can't start now. 1,001 reasons why. I remember when we were about to start TMI, I was combing the whole city looking for a meeting place from Asafo, no, from Top Pie to Joso. Anyway, I'll go to this hotel. They will say 500 cities a day. I say, no, we can't. I'll go here. They will say this. And I said that, look, by all means, we must start, because the pressure was too much. I was like, the burden was, I said, we must start this next January, first Sunday we are meeting. So I went to Asim, and I first went to Amekum. Went there, said there's no space. So, okay. Then I went to Asim, classroom. They said, okay, 20 cities a month. I pay for 1 year. Say, 1 year, 24, 1 year was 240 or something, 240, yeah. So I paid 240, 1 year, bam. So let's go. 3rd January, we started. No excuse. I said, we are moving. I don't care the number. We are just starting. Bam. We just move. Because we could have sat down. We could have drawn the thing on the table. We are going to do this. Oh, let's do that. Without ever moving. Sometimes you must move and then look at the challenge, difficulties, and then solve them. Because sometimes you can't afford to delay. Just move. When you move, you see challenges, then you solve them. My senior hall tutor taught me that. I was a hall president, and then he was hall tutor. We were arranging accommodation for people. And I was giving the, he said, look, president, that's not how we lead. There's a deadline. Just move. When they come, the issues will start popping up, and then we'll start solving them. Truly speaking, we moved. When school reopened, then we were solving issues. Then over a space of like 1 month, every issue was solved. Rather than waiting for them to come before you start placing them. As you place them, this one will come and say this. No, you will drag the whole thing. So movement, move. Laziness. The last one, always blaming others for your predicament. It's also something that we must watch. We should not indulge in blame game. You can blame 1,000 people and 1 people for any situation you find yourself in life. But that is not a sign of leadership. Sometimes you must know that the buck stops with you. I mean, it's your life. Your life. You can't blame anybody per se. So you must take the bull by the horn. What you have to do it. Ask grace from God. What you must do. What you can't do, seek help. Let others do. By all means, don't live your life. There are some people, when something comes, the first thing they look out for is to put the blame on somebody. Then they are free. As soon as they are able to blame somebody, then you see that they are comfortable because it's not me. Sometimes it's from childhood. It's from childhood because of the way the parents handled them, and so they always want to avoid blame. And I'm not saying we should go for blame. What I'm saying is that we should limit passing blame on people. Take responsibility. Sometimes it's shameful, but that's how it should be. Yes, you must take it. You must not blame anybody. Don't blame people for things that happen to you. Clearly, some people can be blamed for certain things, but not all things. Okay, so these and many other things that I can't share today are some of the things that we must watch. And I know that if we attend to these things and watch them, many problems will not only be solved, but they will be avoided. Many issues will be avoided, and many of them too will be solved. Okay, let's look at 10 minutes for questions. If you have any question, you can ask. Then we close.
Okay. Um, Daddy, please. Um, in a situation where, let's say, you are friends with someone, and maybe you are not in a relationship yet, but you know where the friendship is going, like it might end in a relationship, and this person is, let's say, too comfortable around you, and okay, let me say this: the person says profane words, okay, like cussing, and maybe you keep telling the person you don't like this kind of thing, and the person doesn't see anything wrong with it. So it's like whenever you say, the person will be like, "Ma dear, say namuti," and all those things. Looking at such a person, you it's like you are not yet in a relationship with the person, but the person doesn't really take what you say. So is it advisable to step back and avoid moving further, like so that he will not come and ask you out, then you bounce him or something? Is
Yeah, it's better to know what you don't like and then avoid it rather than tolerating it only for the big thing to happen, the proposal to happen before you say. For such a person, um, he's not a gentleman. Okay, yeah, he's not a gentleman. Using vulgar words on around a lady, I doubt if he's born again. If he's a Christian, is immature. Is immature. Uh, he can be advised with scripture, you know, that those things are bad. We don't say those things, and it doesn't present you as. I mean, it makes people see you as uncouth, you know. So, but if he insists, and then he even goes on to say that Emma, clearly you see that he needs a lot of help, a total overhauling of his mindset. You know, his orientation is wrong. His very mindset concerning women and relationship is wrong. So you can, keep the person at an arm's length so that the person will not now come and propose before you say no. I mean, let the person know that you are not interested because of this thing. You are not interested.
but please, would you advise that maybe you should help the person, and then when the person is showing improvements, then you can move on with the person?
Exactly. Some people can be helped, but like you said that this person, if the person, the lady has said it over and over, the person is not changing. Some people, they don't know, not that they are like that, but they don't know how to speak. They have not been taught. So maybe because he loves the lady can teach him that no, we don't say this way. You have to couch your words well. You have to, we don't say this raw like that. But from this person, his attitude is like he's a bit far. He needs a lot of work to be done on him because of the way he said that but maybe somebody genuinely he's just saying the thing as it is, and you are just telling people, oh, use some euphemisms or just tone down. Don't say these things, like the person can change. Apart if all other things are correct, and this is the only issue, the person can change, and the person is changing, then there's nothing wrong. But for somebody who clearly his orientation is wrong, I mean, he doesn't see anything wrong when you say he's even teasing and all that, you see that it can't help the person much.
Daddy, please, the word says, Daddy, please, how many times should we wear our singlets and boxers?
Once.
The word is once.
Yes.
Okay. And
So like if you wear it today, you don't wear it till you have washed it. Yes. Okay.
okay. Please, sorry, they are from the YouTube channel. I'm told to indicate it. So
Okay.
yes. And the second question is, with reference to the crisis, how can you test your partner during dating? Can you take a scenario or something just to test her?
For the crisis.
Yeah, in relation to the crisis.
I gave an example of, let's say, failure in any part of life and how the person reacts to that failure. Even sometimes, break of relationship. There's some people who are very volatile. Like the least thing they are already threatening to take their lives. Such a person has to be helped. Otherwise, he can't bear pressure or crisis situations. Then, the ability to adapt, to changing or changes around you. We have different temperaments, but there are some people, when there's a slight change in the environment, they become totally destabilized. Totally destabilized. That one, it means that you should work on it. You should work on it, pray about it, and then also maybe you must get somebody to help, because changes are bound to happen. Yeah, and largely it depends on the temperament also sometimes, the temperament. So there are situations where you can observe and you can note that this person, the ability to handle crisis or in crisis moments, the ability to be stable is not that strong. So he or she needs help. Then you also see it for yourself and say, oh, I need help. Because the way when I lost that phone, the way it went through my mind, and it was like I was totally cut off from the world. This is stabilized. You must know that it is only a phone. What about if I lose a relationship? Or if I lose a huge sum of money? I lose a business deal or an investment? Or if I lose a job? That's why sometimes people go through crisis counseling, just to help them. But we need to be prepared that, okay, if I lose this, sometimes the attachment to things, it's all because there's a void inside. It's true. It's not a pleasant thing to say or to hear, but that's the truth. The more you are attached to things, it suggests that there's a void, there's an emptiness within you, maybe an unmet need. Okay, so if you lose something, the way you are broken, you can't handle crisis. You have to pray about it, and you have to read the Word of God, let the Word of God feed your spirit and all that. Get good books that can help you to handle tough situations. And some to the kind of fear that grips them in things. um, that certain things can happen, and then it will release a kind of fear. I mean, fear, tormenting fear. You say that the person the person doesn't have shock absorbers. It can be easily broken by things. I'm not saying that because of that, don't marry the person. What I'm saying is that know that it's a concern. Don't overlook it. Every way you can help. If it's with you, never overlook it. Any way you can help yourself. Allow God to help you.
Okay. Then please, another question from the way. Said another thing is today's teaching is making me scared of this whole marriage journey. How should we guide our steps?
Oh, is that true? Oh, okay. I'm happy you are scared. It's better to be scared so that you go with caution than to throw caution to the wind. And so it's not to scare you, but it's to more like it's to bring a balance and to help you to come face to face with reality. Yes, because that's what you are going to face anyway. So um, ordering your steps is God that will help us, will order our steps. The things that we have been taught in the Word, apply them. Don't overlook certain things. And don't also be afraid, too scared that, hey, they say that life is not easy. You didn't know, you knew. Even the little life you've experienced, you know that it's not easy. Even how to even go about your assignment and all that is not easy. Yes. So life itself is not easy. So you better be prepared for it. That's what this teaching is about. Okay. He says he's scared. It's good. It's good that you are scared.
Daddy, please, when it comes to grooming of
When it
maybe
comes to
grooming of the person,
grooming, okay.
yeah, of your partner, I remember one time you said certain things like the person's sense of style are not really, they are not main things you should look at.
The person's
Sense of style, like,
sense
yeah,
of style
like in dressing and
in dress, okay.
yeah. So let's say when it comes to a relationship where you don't, let's say the person's mode of dressing is some way, and this is a case where you you are not really responsible for buying let's say clothes for the person because you are not married. Okay, so how do you tell this person that maybe this shirt, don't wear it with this trouser, or this one there, throw it away, and like those things? How
Yeah,
how do
yeah,
you go
it's
about
true.
it?
The Bible says we should speak the truth in love. It says we should speak the truth in love. Uh, uh, by all means, you are the only one who can tell the person. So you must tell the person. But the way you tell the person really, really, really matters. And number one, you must have the leverage, the platform, and the anointing to tell the person. Because the platform, the leverage, the platform is important. I mean, somebody you have met now, you have not really gotten to a place where you are very close and all that. I mean, you can't just blurt it out like that. Okay, but there are some places, some stages you can tell the person point blank, oh, change this thing. If you can change. Sometimes too, if you can afford, then you buy something for the person just to introduce some change. So this uh Kudespreker t-shirt you have been wearing for a long time, it's now faded. Kunkunu t-shirt is faded. So, I mean, if it's some t-shirts are quality t-shirts, so but maybe this one is faded, or if maybe at home or some other place, but not at a place where. And make sure you know the person has alternatives, and the person is not using. Because maybe he's in love with this t-shirt. Okay, so you draw his attention to the alternatives, and then you tell the person why you think that the person should change small, because this thing is faded, and even the neck is some way, and I think you should. There's nothing wrong if somebody tells you that. Don't be angry. Don't be angry. Just 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 see that it's part of life. Yes, and then if you can change, And that's why I first said that these things is not about money. It's not about money. If it's about money, fine. But if about money, most important thing is keep the thing neat. But if let's say the person doesn't know certain things, you can help the person. But the way you do it, some people are so sensitive, and that is also not good. You see, if you want to marry somebody, you shouldn't bring that thing in. For me, I'm so sensitive. If you talk about the way I dress, I become moody, I become peeved, and all that. No, because when you marry the person she will talk about the way you dress and all that. Okay, so if the person says it, oh, I like sometimes, and sometimes to wait when you see that the person has dressed a nice way, pass a compliment. Person know that when you dress like this, you're really attractive. You're like a gentleman, very attractive, smart. You're smart. You look smart. You look smart in this kind of dressing. You have tucked in the things should be tucked in, so you have tucked it in, and nicely, everything, like Randolph today, yes, the nice coat he was wearing. Oh, it was very nice. I wanted to tell him, but I didn't have time. So yeah, it's nice. So like I hope somebody complimented him. I hope somebody complimented him. Okay, okay, okay. Yes, yes. So that's okay, okay. Um, let's. How many have questions so that we'll know? Last one. Okay, okay.
Okay, Daddy, please. We just learned that you should try as much as possible to voice out your feelings or thoughts about someone. Maybe you are friends with someone or even dating, and then realize that the person is dressing and other things are not, maybe other stuff like that, or maybe some attitudes are not good. Then you should be able to voice out. What if you are friends with more than one person, or even say dating more than dating should be one person, sorry. And then maybe you realize that maybe you are dating one, or you are very close friends with one. Let me use friends. You are very close friends with one lady than others. Maybe you even plan on maybe in the future dating a person or something. But I realize that the person is not voicing out things. I think it's true that for some people with some personalities, is either phlegmatic or melancholic, they are very reserved. They find it difficult to say things, feeling that maybe you might be hurt or something.
Yeah.
But whereas this person too is like that. But at least you expect that at least some things are there she will be able to tell you. Because I think there is some kind of saying that if you love someone, or you love something, you try to correct. Even in the Bible it says God chastises those he loves. So then this person, there are some things that you expect at least it should be able to tell you so that you can fix it. But it's not, the person is not voicing out for whatsoever reasons. And then there is another friend of yours you're not so close to, and maybe that person easily shares things to help you become better or stuff like that. So can you maybe end up dwelling on that and be like, this person's like, as a one fantasy or something, then you go for the other person. As a what kind of, you've kind of shown the other one for the other, but realize, oh, this person is open to me. I think he will help me in future better and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. For, that alone might not be a good um, a good thing to base your choice on, but coupled with other things. So if let's say this is the person that you like, this is a person that you admire the person's character, or you like the person's personality, but it's just that the person is. It takes a long time for the person to voice out. Then you must rather help the person, which is virtually impossible because it's a matter of temperament. So you have to do your best and decide to live with it. But then one way that you can help such people is uh, you must not be somebody who gets angry or somebody who easily gets resentful. Otherwise, you also respond in equal measure. You can't help those people. So you must have extreme patience. Then you must be patient to know what will make the person talk. Everybody has something that will make him open up. Now, if the person sees that you will not trivialize her concerns, if the person says, I'm moody because when we were talking, you didn't say goodbye, you just hung up. And that's why I've been moody for 2 weeks. And then you are like, you see how you are reacting now? you are like, but so this simple thing, that's such a person you can't help the person. You just apologize. There are people, even the tone or the tone, the pitch of your voice at the other end of the phone can irritate them. You are talking, you are too loud. They want the voice to be down, soft. If you raise it a bit, you increase the textural chord, you are you are you are in trouble. You have to do the demi semi quiver, tone semitone, tone semitone. You have to organize your voice. You are in trouble. And the sad aspect is that there are some of them. By the time they tell you, that thing would have, it's long past. You see, it's past. It's like 2 months old now, but this is a time that they finally felt that you were willing to listen. So then they will tell you. And if they sense the attitude of you trivializing their concern, they will recall again. They will never come. So it's difficult handling such people, but you need to be extremely patient. If you are the choleric type, you don't have patience, you can't live with such people. You always hurt them. You always hurt them, and they will always be hurt. They will always see you as insensitive, and they will recoil more, withdraw more. If you are married, a time will come where they will not converse with you, they will not talk with you. They'll be hiding things. I mean, they will not factor you into their decisions. Then gradually, there's a wedge being driven between the two of you. Before you realize the marriage is falling apart, just because they keep records of wrongs. There are some people, when you are with them, you literally have to be apologizing every second. Because even the way you apologize can even be a problem. So you have to apologize for the way you are. I apologize for not apologizing in the way that I should have apologized. How you get me? So you have to pray, but it's a nature. But listen, it's not like nature as in, you see, it's unrefined temperament. It's unrefined. The temperament must be refined by the Holy Spirit. So as you grow in the Lord, your temperament, the rough edges are shaped. So a time will come where even the time that it will take for you to open up reduces. It can reduce gradually to get to a point where you, the melancholic, you are no longer just a melancholic to the core. Now you are a blend. So now you see that you can easily live with people. Otherwise, it's very difficult. But that may not be a basis for saying that then the person is not a marriage material or something. No. That will not be a basis for saying that. Because if you look at the strength of such people they have great strength. They have great strength. People who are like that too, they have great strength. They bring peace and many things to you, you know. And sometimes they bring structure, sometimes they